Have you ever wished you could turn a 2-hour YouTube lecture, podcast, or another video into a 2-minute summary with just the key takeaways? Well, this is exactly what we're building today, an application that transcribes and summarizes YouTube videos automatically. So just to demonstrate how this works, what you do is basically you paste a URL from YouTube, you hit generate summary, and what this is going to do is it's going to transcribe the video, and you're going to get this transcript from the entire video. And after this, you have this summary, which summarizes the entire transcript in just a few sentences, so you can get just the key takeaways from it. So let's start by setting up a project in PyCharm. I've already created a project called YouTube Video Summary, and then it contains a bunch of files. So the main file is called app.py, then we have keys.py, and after this we've got templates, like it's a folder, and then inside this folder we've got index.html. Let's start with app.py, which is the module that contains majority of the logic for running this application. So we need to install a few libraries. So one of them is OpenAI, then we have PyTube, Fix, and finally we've got Flask. And then we are importing our OpenAI API key from the keys module. So if you don't have an account in OpenAI, what you need to do is you need to go to platform.openai.com, and then you need to register and basically get your API key. So next, what we do is we set this Flask application, then we pass a secret key, and after this we create an instance of this OpenAI client. Next, we define a few functions which are going to be used to process a given URL. So the first function is download YouTube audio. So what this function does is basically it takes a URL as an input, and then what it does is it creates an instance of this class called YouTube, and then it passes the URL. And then what we do in here is we get all the available streams, and then we retrieve only the audio from that. And then this is going to be like a byte stream. And what we want to do with this stream is basically we want to save it into a file locally on our machine. And that's why we're specifying a file name here, which is audio.mp4. So obviously you can name this file however you want. And finally, we just return the file path to this file. Next, what we have is we have a function called transcribe audio, and this function takes file path as an input. So what this function does is basically it opens this file in read binary mode, and what it does is it basically calls the OpenAI client, and then it's calling the transcriptions functionality, and then we're creating a new transcription. We're passing this model, which is GPT-4o mini transcribe, and then we're passing the file handle. After this, we've got a function called summarize transcript, and then it takes a transcript as an input, and this transcript is basically the transcript that we retrieved from the previous function. And what this is doing is it's calling the OpenAI client again, and this time we're using the completions functionality. So we use GPT-4o mini, and then we're passing two messages. So the first message is the system message, and then the second message is the user message. So the system message is basically saying summarize the transcript in 3 sentences, clear and concise, and the user message contains the actual transcript. So when this runs, it's going to return an object, and then this object has different basically arguments. So we're getting the choices, the first choice, and then we're extracting the message and the content from this message. So this will contain the actual summary from our transcript. Last but not least, we need to define a root for our Flask application. So we're going to have this index root, which defaults to this / page. And then this is going to take get and post. And basically, let's go through the get request first. So this is the post request. And then if we have a get request, we just render template, and then this will be index.html. So we're going to look at index.html in a few minutes. So if the request is a post request, what we do is we retrieve the YouTube URL from the form, which is in our index.html page. And after this, we're checking if we have a YouTube URL provided as an input. And if this is the case, then we're calling the function download YouTube audio. And what this is going to do is it's going to download the audio from the provided YouTube URL, and it's going to save that on our local machine. So you can see on the left hand side here I already have audio.mp4 because I ran the application earlier and I showed you a demo. So every time you basically put a URL into the input box and click generate summary, it's going to download this file audio.mp4 and then it's going to do the processing. So once we have downloaded the YouTube audio, what happens next is first we transcribe the audio, and in order to do that we call the transcribe audio function, then we pass the file path, and when this returns, it returns the actual transcript. So after this we call summarize transcript, and then we pass the transcript. So when this returns, it's going to return the summary. And last but not least, we're rendering index.html again. And this time we're basically passing two variables. We pass summary and we pass transcript. And we're going to look at index.html now, so you can see how these variables are used in the template. This is our index.html page. So this is the body section. So what we do is we create some headers just to basically tell the users what this page is about. After this, we create a form, and then there's a few fields in that form. So first we've got a label which says paste YouTube URL, and then we have an input box where the users can enter or paste their URLs from YouTube. And finally, we've got this button which is called generate summary. So after the form, we've got just some flashed messages. So this is just in case there's any errors or any problems in the backend, then we're going to display those messages to the user so that they can see if they've done something wrong. After the flashed messages, we've got some conditional logic in here. So the first conditional statement is basically if we have a transcript, which is a variable that is being passed to our template. So if you remember, when we do a post request and then we basically provide summary and transcript as two different variables. And in this case, we're saying, okay, if we have a transcript, then basically create h2 header and then put the content of the transcript into this pre-tag. And we do something similar for the summary. So in here we're saying, okay, if we have a summary, then we create a header with the word summary, and then we also render the content of the summary. So now what we can do is we can run the application and test it. So let's run this. Now the application is up and running on our local host. So let's go and just refresh this. Yeah, so the page is up and running. So now what we need to do is we basically need to provide a YouTube URL in this input box and then hit enter or just press the button. I'm going to choose a video from my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to copy the URL from it and then put it into the text box. So if you're not subscribed yet, please do so and watch the videos. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to use one of my YouTube Shorts videos But in real life you can also use like long videos. Like it doesn't matter if it's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or 25 minutes, it doesn't matter. Like this application can work with videos of any size. Even if you want to basically transcribe and summarize a podcast which is say 1 hour, then you can do so. There's no restrictions on that. You just need to bear in mind that you need to have enough credit in your OpenAI account, because this is where all the costs are going to come from. So let's open my YouTube Shorts, and then I'm going to choose one video. Let's say I'm going to choose this one, Python flight price alerts. So let's copy the link. Let's go back to our Flask application. Let's paste this URL here, and then we can hit enter. So let's give it maybe 10-15 seconds, and then let's see the output. So there you go, it's quite fast, and you can see that we got the full transcript from this video, and also we have a nice summary which is like exactly 3 sentences, because this is exactly what we told ChatGPT. So if you don't want to see the full transcript, you can probably limit this to just the first 1000 words. Or if you don't want to see the transcript at all, then you can just disable this feature. I believe that most people would be interested in getting the summary from the videos that they're interested in, because it's going to save you a lot of time by just pasting the URL here, clicking on generate summary, and then it neatly prints the key points, so you don't need to watch like a 1 hour podcast to see or to understand like what happened or what was said. And yeah, you can easily get the key takeaways from it. You can even take this application to the next level by adding another option where people can upload any kind of audio files. So instead of like pasting a YouTube URL in here, you can have another option which is about uploading audio files. So say that someone recorded a meeting from Zoom or Google Meets or any other application, then they can probably provide some sort of an audio file, and then you can create an option in here to say, okay, if you have an audio file, then you can just upload it, hit generate summary, and then it's just going to follow the same pipeline and the same logic. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. And again, if you want to get access to the code behind this video, you can sign up to my school community. The link should be down below in the description. It's completely free and you don't need to pay anything. Thank you very much for your time, and see you in the next video.